Today I'm going to be installing RetroArch in an older Windows device, and I figured what the heck, I might as well make a video showing how the process is done, just in case any of you guys out there are curious and are looking to use RetroArch for the very first time. I have a first gen Microsoft Surface Pro, and it's got a crack in the screen and gives me all kinds of problems, so I can't really use the thing anymore from a functional standpoint, so I thought, why not turn it into a little emulation beast? This thing has an older Intel Core i5 processor, so I should get some decent performance out of this. Of course, performance will vary based on whatever device you guys are using, but even some really old hardware should be able to run 8-bit and 16-bit consoles rather easily. Another thing to bear in mind is that most disk-based consoles require a BIOS file to become operable in RetroArch. I'm not going to be going over that in this video. In this video, this is just a basic installation. So with that being said, let's dive right in. The first thing that we're going to do is go over to the RetroArch website and install the latest version of the software. Find which version is compatible with your operating system. This device is running Windows 10 64-bit, so that's the one I'm going to go ahead and select. I'm going to go ahead and click Run and let it do its thing. While running the setup, I'm going to go ahead and select Next. If you don't have DirectX 9.0 installed, you're going to go ahead and click that as well. It's kind of necessary to get this thing running. Go ahead and click Next and just let it do its thing. It's going to install RetroArch as well as DirectX. So once the installation is complete, we're going to go ahead and open up the program. This is the main menu of RetroArch. Now, I do not like this user interface. I feel like it's very flat. So we're going to switch it over to XMB, which gives it a more PlayStation 3 PSP type of vibe. So from main menu, we're going to scroll down to settings. We're going to go into drivers. We're going to scroll down to menu and switch it from Ozone to XMB. We're going to go ahead and close out the program and restart it. And when we open up the program again, you're going to see that it's just a much better presentation. So up next, we're going to install some emulation cores. The cores basically communicate with the program, telling it which games you're trying to emulate. So click on Load Core, download a core, and you have a plethora, a full list of a bunch of different emulators that are available for RetroArch. I want to emulate some SNES, some Sega Genesis, maybe some N64, so I'm just going to go ahead and download a bunch. Once you have your cores installed, now it's time to get some games. Now, I will not be telling you guys where to get your ROMs, but if you do a quick Google search, I'm sure you guys are going to find a ton of options out there. So on my desktop, I have a folder that I named ROMs. When I go inside the folder, I'm going to have all these little subfolders for every game console that I plan on emulating using RetroArch. And inside each folder, I have a set of ROMs for said console. This is a quick, easy, and organized way of setting this all up. So now we're going to go ahead and go back into RetroArch and scroll all the way over to the right where it says Scan Directory. We're going to go ahead and click that, go into our C drive, and find that ROMs folder that I placed on my desktop. Once I find that folder, I'm going to click it, click each individual subfolder, then click Scan this directory. Let it do its thing, and then I'm going to repeat this process for every single subfolder that I have created. Once it's all done, you'll see that RetroArch created these little tabs with all of my games ready and available right at the main menu. At this point, we're actually ready to rock. I can game away right now if I wanted to. But we're going to give this thing an even better presentation and put some box art on here, so that when we highlight a game, it'll give us a nice picture to associate the title to. So once again, at the main menu, we're going to go all the way to the left and scroll down to Online Updater. From here, we're going to go down to Playlist Thumbnails Updater. And we're going to go ahead and click every single emulator that we have here. And what it's going to do is it's going to download some thumbnails for us. making the presentation even better and organizing things really nice. So if we go back to the tabs where our games are, as you can see, now we got some really nice thumbnails, some box art. So enough of all this, let's go ahead and play some games. So as I previously stated, your performance will vary depending on which device you're using. This Surface Pro actually has some pretty decent processing power, so I'm able to play some high-end games on it. As you can see, it doesn't run everything perfect, but most of the things it runs just fine. The performance is truly dependent on the limitations of the hardware that you're using. The basic RetroArch front end is one of my favorite ways to emulate retro consoles, mainly because of how easy it is to set up. As you guys can see, that really didn't take much time at all. Like I said earlier, to run some disc-based games like Dreamcast and PlayStation 1, you're going to need a BIOS file. But to run everything from Atari 2600 right up to Nintendo 64 should work fine following this tutorial. Hopefully this will provide some of you out there with some countless hours of gaming and breathe some new life into a device that you were otherwise ready to get rid of. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, this is Ness, signing out.